One day, Ron Mallet might be seen as the true pioneer. He believes he's very close to the ultimate prize, a real working time machine. It's the culmination of a lifelong quest that began with an untimely death.
The reason I became interested in time travel was my father. He was really a terrific person, and I loved him very deeply, and he died of a heart attack when he was only 33, and I was 10 years old, and I was devastated. It turned my world upside down.
Science fiction became the young boy's salvation. In it, he found the hope that he needed to overcome his grief.
I thought, what if I could build a time machine and go back into the past? Then I would be able to see him again and maybe save his life. So that became my goal, to build a time machine.
As Ron grew up, he began to study science as well as science fiction, discovering a natural talent for the subject. Fast forward 40 years, and the young boy with the impossible dream is now a professor of physics at the University of Connecticut. He's an expert in the one branch of science that allows him to tinker with time. The journey has certainly been worthwhile, and the fruits of his labors are tantalizingly close.
I feel that with current technology, it's possible at the very least to send subatomic particles back into the past.
The professor's confidence is well-founded. He recently published this paper, which outlines his principle. His peers reacted with enthusiasm.
We've known for a long time that time travel is possible in theory. What we've never known is how to do it. But what Mallet has come up with here is a means to achieve it. He's got a blueprint for a time machine.
Treating time as a dimension means that scientists can not only consider time travel logically, they can also explain why it seems so utterly confusing to us.
Suppose that there is a world that has only two dimensions, like this piece of paper, and that there are beings that can only live in this two-dimensional world. They can conceive of length and width, but they cannot conceive of the third dimension, height. What would they make of a three-dimensional object, like this paper clip, if I introduced it into their world? To them, it will appear as though the object came out of nowhere. They can't conceive of the fact that it came from a third dimension. And if I pull the object back out of their two-dimensional world into the third dimension, to them it will have appeared to vanish.
In just the same way as a creature from a flat world would see a three-dimensional object doing the impossible, we three-dimensional humans would see a traveler in the fourth dimension do some very strange things. They could appear, vanish, then reappear, quite literally, some other time.
And that's not the only strange thing that happens. If I fold this piece of paper over and push this single paper clip through, the people in this world will see this one object in two places. Thanks. That's why time travel, which is travel in the fourth dimension, allows someone to be in two places at once.
Although Back to the Future was right about the difficulty of time travel, the very fact that physicist Ron Mallet can even consider such a thing shows just how advanced our understanding of space and time really is. Remember, he wants to find a way to send subatomic particles into the past. It appears to be an outlandish idea, but Ron is not an outlandish scientist, and his peers are not laughing at him.
20 years ago, it would have been close to professional suicide, but because of the fact that there's an enormous amount of articles, serious research articles in the professional journals about time travel and time machines, it's no longer considered to be part of the backwater. It's considered to be at the forefront of research today. So I'm at the front line rather than being ready to be institutionalized.
Although Einstein correctly worked out that traveling very fast sends you into the future, a further development of the theory should allow travel to the past. Even if it's only the odd particle or two, that would be a massive advance.
If Ron Mallet's experiments turn out as he hopes, then it would immediately put an end to the controversy about whether time travel would ever be practicable. Because although in his machine we're going back in time really only with information or a couple of particles, nevertheless the principle of the thing is what is at stake, and that is what would have been shown to be possible. So although even in that most optimistic case we shouldn't be expecting practicable time machines to be in the shops anytime soon, we can be confident that one day in the distant future they will be.
And if you make...
You're about to see the very first steps into the potential of travel through the fourth dimension. This is the crux of the professor's long journey, one that began many years ago as a boy, simply wanting to see his departed father again. It starts with intensely powerful rings of laser light that twist time into a loop, an effect that Einstein predicted, but was never able to prove.
With a circulating beam of light, you'll create a rotating region of space, as though you were stirring at a cup of coffee. Also, in addition to twisting space, in Einstein's theory, space and time are linked. So you cause a twisting of time as well. So if we think of time, our timeline, as being a line from the past to the present to the future, if I can close that line into a loop, I can go from the past to the present to the future, but we're on a loop, so I can go from the future back into the past. It won't be simple, okay? Real-world experiments aren't, but it will be able to be done.